Hi everybody. We're going to talk about something we haven't talked about in a while, but it's one of the basics and the roots of the beginning of my practice. That's traffic, criminal traffic, and specialties that come in traffic. The first point I wanted to touch about was just general infractions that anyone can get. I was reminded about this because I was studying with my children as they were getting their driver's licenses or their learner's permits. And I'm going over the rules of the road with them, and I'm reading the driver's handbook with them. And it was funny because there's just so many things that I know and I take for granted that everyone else knows, and they just don't. And it's how to handle a ticket when you get a ticket, how to handle the situation when you get pulled over by a police officer. So the first thing you should know is whenever you get pulled over by a police officer is remain calm. I know it's a stressful situation, but it can be stressful for you and for the police officer. So if you remain calm, cool, and collected, it's probably going to go much better than any other situation that you can do or any other way you can handle it. Also, you may be tempted to look for your paperwork before the officer gets there to have everything ready, but sometimes that makes officers nervous when you're kind of looking around for stuff. So make sure that you wait with your hands on the steering wheel as the officer comes up for you to then tell the officer you're going to get your paperwork and tell the officer where you're going to reach to get the paperwork. Also, any questions the officer asks, just answer them. Be honest with the officer. Be nice. Be polite. That goes a long way. We've all seen videos of people who get rude with police officers and wind up getting pulled out of the car and tased. You don't want that to be you. So the next step after you get a ticket, and before I get there actually, most states and here in Florida, the officer doesn't have to make you sign the ticket unless there's certain exceptions. But if you're asked to sign the ticket, just sign it. And if you don't sign it, usually you'll get a certification, which is fine. But if you don't sign it and the officer says you must sign it, you will go to jail if you don't sign it. So make sure you do sign it. That's very important. And the next step after you get the ticket is to call us, because that's what we do. We fight the tickets for you. Don't elect school. Don't pay the ticket. That's not in your best interest. It's in your best interest to fight the ticket. It will almost always get you a better result than paying it or electing school.